Hello. I want to chat about the teacup analogy of inflammation. For those of you who have seen me in my practice, you've definitely heard this before. And it really, for me, justifies why I do lifestyle medicine. When someone comes into my office with allergies or insomnia or constipation or joint pain, this teacup analogy of inflammation is why I do lifestyle medicine. So, should have had a teacup here. Haha, we'll use a votive. Here, pretend this is a teacup. Think of your body as a cup or as a vessel. Anything that irritates your system creates a bit of inflammation and puts some fluid in your cup. Inflammation, we always hear inflammation is a bad thing. Inflammation is chronic inflammatory diseases of diabetes and cancers and heart disease and arthritis. In those cases, excess inflammation is the issue. But inflammation itself is a healthy way that our immune system heals or tries to heal from things that irritate it. So we all have a cup of different size that allows us to have that background level of inflammation that's a healthy amount of inflammation, that our body is healing from a poor night's sleep, an emotionally stressful day, some bad bacteria in our digestive tract, some bad bacteria in our mouths, chemical exposure, feeling of loss or loneliness, emotional stress. I think I said that one already, but it's worth saying twice. Anything that irritates us, we stub our toe, for example, anything that irritates us adds fluid to this teacup. If we're born blessed with a large cup, we have a lot of inflammation background that we can hold without overflowing. It's when we overflow that we create symptoms. And when we overflow, each of us as individuals create symptoms in different ways, depending on what our weak system of our body is. And so if we have a weak system in our joints, for example, or a musculoskeletal system, we might be one who gets joint pain or arthralgias. If the GI tract is our weak system, we might manifest a cup overflowing with inflammation by getting IBS symptoms or getting constipation or inflammatory bowel diseases. But it doesn't matter what filled our cup up. So if we have an abundance of bad bacteria and some toxin exposure, we could have the same irritants filling our cup up, but we could manifest them differently when our cup overflows because I'm different than you, than you, than you. And so when I talk about lifestyle medicine, what I'm looking at is how many different ways can we minimize the things that irritate us? Said another way, how many different types of ways can we minimize the sources of inflammation in our day-to-day lives so that our cup stays not full and our cup doesn't overflow to create chronic inflammatory diseases? This is why I do lifestyle medicine, looking at food, movement, hydration, not only for cellular function, but for waste elimination, looking at sleep, at relationships with self, with others, with something greater, feeling connected in this world. So that's the teacup analogy of inflammation. I'm going to give you one last example of this before I sign off. I am an allergic person. Those are my tendencies. When I lived in New England and was able to go to my mom's house more frequently, she is a cat owner. I have cat allergies. And when I was not stressed, feeling like I was in balance, doing okay with my food, not stressed out, and didn't have environmental allergies flaring in spring or fall, I could go to my mom's house and I could tolerate her cats more or less. I might get a little stuffy, a little congested, I might blow my nose a lot, but I didn't have any asthmatic symptoms when I visited her, when I was in balance and it wasn't environmental allergy season, i.e. when my cup was very, very low and not super filled. But if I was going to go visit my mom and I was stressed out, I hadn't been eating well, if I had been reacting to my environmental pollen allergies, so it was spring or fall, I could go to my mom's house and within an hour, exposure to her cats would trigger my asthma. Now again, the stress, the poor diet, the environmental allergies were all things that were filling up the baseline of my cup. So when I got to my mom's, all it took was a teeny bit of exposure to her cats and my cup overflowed and created asthmatic symptoms. That's a perfect example of the teacup analogy. Feel free to share your examples of teacup analogy here on YouTube. Feel free to share them with me through messaging, through Facebook. Obviously only things that you want out there in the world. I won't be the only one reading them. This is social media. But please do take this to heart. Think about what could you be doing in your life to decrease your overall level of inflammation, to decrease the amount of fluid in your teacup, so that when you do get a large exposure to something, because we do live in this world, it doesn't necessarily make you overflow into illness. I hope this gave you something to think about, and comment below if you want to share. Thanks for joining. Take care.